Thank you all for joining. My name's Ben Alderson. I'm one of the senior account managers here at Papertrail. I've got my colleague Ian, who's part of our product development and solutions team. And today we are going to eventually talk about NFC tagging and a couple of other things. So things like our staff competency module. We're just going to go through a few bits and pieces on that. So yeah, appreciate you making the time and effort to join. Much appreciated, albeit with a bit of a delay. I appreciate you're already all on mute, which is great. Just reduces any distractions. Not that we've not had them already. Because of the number of people on the call, in terms of questions throughout, if you don't mind adding them into the chat function, and we're just going to monitor them throughout the call, and we'll answer as many as we can throughout. Appreciate there might be similar ones, so we'll just group them together. If for whatever reason we don't get around all the questions, we will follow up directly. We've obviously got information and contact details, so we will do that as an overview. In terms of an agenda, as you can see on screen, it's probably going to be a bit of a quicker introduction from myself, just a bit of an overview of who we are as Papertrail. Ian's then going to talk through some NFC tagging and scanning and a few sort of queries around that. Then we're going to look at what we class as probably one of our other most important modules, as well as equipment management, is staff competency, used by some of our biggest clients and really see the benefits. So we'll do a quick overview on that, which will include some analytics, so some reporting that can be viewed as well through, as well as the app itself. Like I said, please keep firing in the questions, and like I said, we'll do our best to answer them as we go. Just to give a bit of an overview about Papertrail, we're an asset management and inspection software company. Appreciate that some people on the call are existing Papertrail clients, which is great to see, but then also a big welcome to everyone else who's new to the software. As a sort of a starting point, we pride ourselves on reducing risk, improving efficiencies and driving accountability, and providing immutable evidence to stay compliant within businesses and organizations. We're a SaaS company, which means our software is hosted in the cloud, and we use AWS, so that's Amazon Web Services, the largest cloud provider. It ensures 5 to 9's availability, and because we're ISO accredited to 27001, it means that your data is as secure as possible. So a really sort of key focus of ours. Papertrail was created over 10 years ago now, with our current CEO, Ben Scholes, working in the outdoor industry. He was responsible for equipment management and inspection, and sort of recognised that there wasn't an efficient system for managing equipment, and that's where Papertrail was born. We recently, so in the last 3 weeks, passed our 20 millionth inspection, which is absolutely bonkers in terms of numbers, but a fantastic achievement for everyone involved at Papertrail. As you can imagine, Papertrail's evolved massively over the last 10 years, expanding the offering in terms of functionality and capabilities, and that's through a couple of things. The development team, that's constantly growing, got some really talented people in that team, but then also from customer feedback, something that we pride ourselves on, wanting to find solutions regardless of how big or small it might be within your business. It's something that we always try and find. And as you can imagine, whilst we do still have a real focus on equipment management, what we do now offer is a modular platform. So it allows you to manage multiple asset types across your whole business. So you'll see on screen some examples of the sectors that we're involved in, and some of which are already seeing the benefits of using features like NFC tagging. That's already been introduced to a lot of companies. But just to give you an overview, renewable energy, we're working with RWE across pretty much all of their offshore wind farms, and many different modules that they use throughout Papertrail. Utilities, Wessex Water, they use us for that. We've recently started working with Greater Manchester Fire and Rescue. So all of the fire departments within Greater Manchester use Papertrail, from looking at ladders, anything on the appliances, BA devices, all sorts. We help Cardiff City Council with their waste management function. We've got presence in the theatre space, so Lloyd Webber theatres, and then also facilities management with the likes of Edinburgh University. So it gives us a really wide spread, but allows us to gain lots and lots of information across all sectors and hopefully improve paper trail as we go. So how does it work on screen? Talking about that modular system, I will reiterate that we're very much a customizable product. You've got paper trail, but how you use it and how it's best suited to you is often dependent on your decisions. But on screen, we've got a list of all the modules available. And if I just click through as an example, one of our bigger renewable companies, they use us for all of these different modules. So again, picking and choosing, creating a system that's sort of specialized and works for you. So thank you for listening so far. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to pass over to Ian. Ian's going to speak about the NFC tagging function. So looking at the different types of tags, how that's assigned to a different record, so a piece of equipment, and we'll go from there. But there you go, Ian.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Ben. Yeah, so kind of into the meat of the whole thing is we're going to be looking at NFC and the new NFC functionality that we've kind of brought to our platform. So to start off with, it's probably best talking about what is NFC. So NFC stands for Near Field Communication, and it's a wireless technology that allows two devices to kind of communicate with each other when they're in close proximity. You will have come across this in your kind of everyday life. If you've ever gone to the shop and tapped your phone or your watch, whatever it is nowadays, you just tap it on the chip and pin thing, and then you can pay for it whatever it is you're buying. So that's one application of NFC. But what we're going to look at is how you can use that same technology to kind of streamline your inspection process. So that would be basically tagging your equipment or with NFC enabled stickers or tags, and then using those to kind of scan and improve your workflow. So what devices can you use? Basically, any modern smartphone will be enabled with NFC. As are most tablets nowadays. Funnily enough, iPads don't actually have NFC enabled on them, and probably some of the more basic tablets that you might get might not have it as enabled as well. So we would always recommend checking the specifications for any device that you might be looking to purchase if you're going to be using it for NFC. However, when you're using NFC on like your laptop that won't have NFC on it, or on a device that doesn't have NFC enabled, there are alternatives. So right here, I've got a NFC scanner, which is connected to the laptop. There is also a Bluetooth version of this as well. So you can connect that to any form of tablet or anything that doesn't have NFC enabled, and it basically turns it into an NFC reader. So next, we're going to take a little look at the different types of tags that you can get and how you might apply them to your different pieces of equipment. So at the very basic ones, we just have plain stickers. So the stickers look like this. They have a little NFC chip inside them there. And then this is basically going to be applied to any piece of equipment where there's not really that much wear and tear, where it can kind of be hidden out of the way. An example here is I've got a helmet and I've just placed the sticker in the back where it's not really kind of touching anything, and it's kind of hidden away there. It's generally recommended that you don't put any stickers on the outside of a helmet. That's just due to the adhesive on it. It's a manufacturer recommendation as it can kind of damage the outside of the shell. So we also have stickers that look like this. They're kind of clear stickers. These are called label stickers. So if we were to look at this harness, If you kind of go into here, there is a label. You can get it out. It's a little bit stuck in there, but basically the label that sits within your harness, you can pull that out and you can put that label sticker on there. Another example of using label stickers is this rope. So I've actually applied that label sticker to the rope and then just put some heat shrink around it. And that kind of encases the sticker and keeps it safe from any damage. So we also have this type of sticker, and it looks very similar to the rest of them, but this sticker is designed for use with metal. So metal actually interferes with the near field communication. So it can be quite difficult to scan certain items. So I've got this gree here, and I put, even though the sticker is actually on the plastic side of the gree, because there is metal close to the sticker, I might have a problem scanning that. So we would use an on metal sticker. It would apply to either plastic or to metal, and would just ensure that you don't get any interference from the metal when you're scanning it. We also have things like this keyring. So obviously this can just be attached to your keys. So it could be van keys or car keys if it's a company vehicle. If you need to complete like weekly vehicle checks, then you simply scan this keychain. It would take you through to the record for your vehicle, and then you can fill out your vehicle checklist and add that inspection. For like harder wearing items, especially things like harnesses and stuff like that, we actually have zip ties. So very hard wearing, durable plastic. Inside the top here, we have the NFC chip. So that could be put around like gear loops. It could also be used like kind of in offshore wind applications. You could put it onto an anchor point or something like that, or just like any kit that sees a lot of use, and you can fit a zip tie around it. And in a similar vein, we have this very hard NFC clip. So you can clip that onto the gear loop of a harness, for example, or basically anything else that would fit around. That is incredibly hard plastic, so it's probably going to last a lifetime. So yeah. And then just a quick look at carabiners. Obviously, carabiners are quite a difficult one to tag because you're using the bottom side, you're using the top side. You don't really want to interfere too much with the gate. And then you've got the serial number on the spine there. But what we've done is we've just put an on metal sticker. They're quite small, so we've managed to do it without covering up the serial number or covering up the safe working load. And we've just got some clear heat shrink wrap and just wrapped it around there. So it's quite hard wearing, and then you can still scan that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to jump into Papertrail on our web application. And we're going to take on the role of a stores manager that's just bought in a couple of bits of equipment. I'm going to show you how you can add that equipment to your Papertrail account, how you can assign a serial number and an NFC tag to it. And then what we're going to do is we're going to scan a few different items, and we're going to assign that to an employee or a technician. Hopefully we can all see the webinar equipment management. So for those of you that kind of haven't used Papertrail before, this might look a little bit strange to you, but if you want to know a little bit more about the system and get a full demonstration, then by all means you can book a demo once the webinar is finished. But as I said, I'm going to take on the role of a stores manager, and I've just ordered some equipment, and I'm going to add it into Papertrail and assign it the identifiers that I need to put on there. So in order to do that, I'm just going to click View All Folders and Records. I'm then going to click into my stores, and I've got a couple of grees here in front of me, so I'm going to scroll down and go to rope devices. I've got belay devices here, and I'm just going to click New Record. So what I want to do is I actually want to import these records, because what Papertrail has is a product directory, which is a library of tens of thousands of pieces of equipment. And if I was to use this, then I get a lot of information from the manufacturer. So I'm just going to type in Grigri, and you'll see that the Petzl Grigri pops up here. I've got the grey one. So I'll click that, and you can see all this information that's going to come through from that product directory. I've got 2 in front of me, so I'm going to click the quantity up till 2, and then I'm going to click Add to Import List. So now you can see I've got my 2 Grigris there. I'm going to change the inspection frequency because I want to inspect these every 6 months. And then we've got an initial state, and because they're new pieces of equipment, I would hope that they're safe for use. So we're going to select Fit for Use and then just click Import. What you'll see is those 2 records kind of popping up in the background there, but we're presented with this box. So what this allows us to do is create further actions on the 2 records that we've just created. So I'm going to click Actions, and we'll see all these options, but what interests me is identifiers. So I'm going to click in identifiers, and you'll see we've got these different options, but we've got mainly serial number, and we've got NFC over here at the side. So I'm going to click into serial numbers, and I'm just going to type in my serial numbers. And then if I go over to NFC, I can click in the box for NFC. I can grab my scanner and grab my Grigri, which I've added a sticker to. And then I'll just tap it against the scanner, and you can see it pops up there. I would just move down to the next Grigri, which I've got here, which also has a sticker added on it, and tap it, and it's added to NFC again. So now that we've got that, those 2 pieces of information added on, we can click Save, and we can close this down. What you should hopefully see in just a second is the serial numbers that popped up and the NFC tags that have been added to it. So now that we've added the equipment in, we might want to build out some kit and assign it to a member of staff. So I'm going to click back on my dashboard, and then up in the right hand corner where we've got our search bar, just along from there, we've got this little icon that looks like a Wi-Fi symbol. If we click there, then it pops up, allowing us to start scanning. So you've got a couple of options. You can either scan a single item. So if you just picked up an item and you wanted to find out more information about it or add an inspection to it, you would just have a single scan. But in this example, I want to scan a few different items because I'm going to assign it to a member of staff. So I'm going to switch to multi-scan. So now I can take my scanner, I can take my Grigri, I can scan it, and we can see that it's added it to our list there. I'm going to grab my harness here. I'm going to scan that as well. I'm going to move that over here. I've got my rope, which I'm going to assign. I've scanned that as well. And then I've got a helmet, which I'm also going to assign. So that's all of those scanned in there. And now I have the option to add inspections, but what I want to do is I want to assign it to someone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click this little down arrow. I'm going to select Move. I'm going to select our technicians, and there's my own folder, so I'll put it in there. So you can, now those have moved, but you can also perform further actions on those if you wanted to. So you could add inspections, you could tag those with someone's name. So I could go onto tags, and I could also tag it with Ian and create that tag and click Save. So I'll come out of here, and I'll go to my folders. I can see technicians, and I can go to Ian, and then you can see all those items that I've assigned. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hopefully jump out of here and go into the mobile app, and I can show you what it's like from the technician side or the employee side. And I can show you how they can scan the items when they receive them and add some inspections to them. So I'm just going to stop sharing very quickly. So hopefully everyone can see the mobile app now. So I'm playing the role of the technician now. I've received all this equipment, and what I want to do is I want to just add a pre-use inspection to them. So in order to search for that equipment, I'm just going to click the magnifying glass that's up there in the top right hand corner. I'm going to select NFC, and it's going to open up the ability for me to scan the NFC tags. So I've got my harness here. I'm going to scan that first. There we go. So we've got the green. Then it will just pop up again and allow you to scan. So I've scanned and I've got my harness again. And then we can move on to the next item, which is the helmet here. I can scan that. And the helmet pops up. And then we've got our rope in front of us as well. So we can just tap that as well. So it does this continuously let you kind of keep scanning things. So once you're done with your scanning, you just click cancel, and then you can see all of these items in front of you. So I can just select all of these items one by one, and then click add inspection. And now I can go down the line and I can add inspections to all of these pieces of equipment. I can just mark them all as safe for use. And once I'm happy, I just click save and submit. So now I've kind of added my inspection to all these pieces of equipment, but I found an extra carabiner in the bag. So what I can do is I can add this into my kit. So I can go into my folder, and then I can click the three dots in the top right hand corner. I can import a record, and I've got an oval screw gate here. So I can search for that. It's a DMM one. So I can add that to my list, and then I can complete my import. Then all I have to do to assign that is this click and then add NFC tag, and then tap it to scan it. Perfect. So hopefully that's a good overview of NFC for you. So what we've done is we've ordered some new equipment. We've added it into Papertrail. We've assigned it a serial number and an NFC tag. We've then used our NFC tags in order to create a list of equipment, which we've then assigned to an employee. On the other side, we have received that equipment as the employee. We've scanned it to find it within the account. We've added an inspection to it, and we've been able to add an additional piece of information on and assign it an NFC tag within the mobile app. All within quite a short period of time. Obviously, it'd be a lot quicker if you weren't presenting it to everyone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass back over to Ben, and we're going to have a little bit of a look at one of the other modules that you can get with Papertrail, which is our staff competency module. And then following on from that, we will kind of open it up to questions.
Perfect. Hopefully you can see that now. Appreciate there are some questions coming into the chat, which is great. I think Carrie, my colleague, he's answering them. So keep them coming. Like I said, any that we don't get through today, we will follow up directly. So as discussed, Papertrail was born out of equipment management and how that's evolved, such as the NFC tagging that Ian's just gone through. Hopefully that's given people a bit of food for thought, improving efficiencies, helping identify equipment. But one other, just briefly, I'm appreciating and conscious of time, but one of our other modules that is used by a lot of different businesses is the staff competency. So the importance of your staff competency, so tracking all that compliance certification, just means that it keeps you certified across the board, and it can be anything, and it's obviously dependent on the industry that you're working in. So if it's rope access, it's IRATA level 1, 2 and 3, all the way down to monitoring things such as DSE assessments in the office, whatever it is, but making sure that you've got that information available in a easy to view system such as Papertrail is really quite important. It just helps with keeping up to date with certs, and accreditations, looking at it from a performance management perspective, making sure that you're sending the right people out onto the right jobs. I'm sure we've had it in the past where people have turned up, they don't have the correct qualifications. That's then a cost on all businesses involved. So trying to avoid all those eventualities can be helped throughout Papertrail. So just going to take you through a bit of an overview of the staff competency module. So for those of you who've used Papertrail before, you'll probably recognize this as a dashboard in terms of the filters. So The terminology that we use here at the moment, we've got requalification due and overdue, yet to complete, and so on. If within your business organization you're using different wording, different terms, that's absolutely fine. We can change that accordingly. So don't feel that, you know, this is how you have to use Paper Trail. Completely change that. Recent activities. You'll see, unsurprisingly, myself, I've been busy in this account doing bits and pieces, but again, that just gives the account admin a bit of an overview as to who's been active, what they've been doing, if they've been, you know, booked a course, carried out a course, if they're overdue, things like that. Everything, any type of activity is recorded. We'll come on to the folders section in a second, activities we've just discussed, and then as we get further into the demo, we'll speak about tasks as well and how that's important. So folder structure, as I keep saying, Paper Trail is completely customizable. How you lay this out is completely up to you. You can see that we've done it via office. So we've got a Manchester office and we've got an Aberdeen office, whether you can do it via personnel. So within that, we've got our wind turbine technicians. Ian and I are both very talented people. We've got that as well. But there's no limit on the number of subfolders you can have, so you can keep drilling down depending on how you want to look at it. Then we've got a second folder for our technicians, and then we've got an Aberdeen office, which is pretty quiet at the moment. We're just still building that up, but it's entirely up to you how you want to lay it. So if we click onto Ian's folder, and you can see in here all the accreditations that he's got from his first aid, step test, all the way up to working at height, IRATA level 2, and so on and so on. One thing about Paper Trail is that you'll get notifications or visuals, I should say. You know, green is good. Amber, you'd see a little amber warning sign to show that your reval's needed or you need to resit your course. And then red is obviously a warning and would be overdue. So if I click into his basic offshore safety induction training, it's a good one to pick. In terms of the information that's stored in there, we always show the fields that have been populated. So you'll see the inspection frequency, the next check date or the next reval date. We've got an image of the cert in there, so we can upload existing documents to that. When he was qualified, what the course was, where it was, even down to the cost. So lots and lots of information that can be added in if necessary. So let me just move that around. In terms of adding in information, so I can go into here and say that it's yet to complete. I can add in comments if I need to. Speaking about tasks, we can create tasks in here. So for example, we need to rebook a course. I can add a description if needed. That task needs addressing, and I can add in a person. So I'm going to add in Ian to tell him. This could be added to office admin, people who are responsible for booking courses. But what that means is that task is now created. Ian receives an email to say you're overdue or it's coming up for a reval. Please can you action that? And you'll see in here, rebook, there it is as well. So that is a very, very quick, brief overview. But in terms of managing dates, reminders, everything's in there that you need, and it can be set out to how you want it in terms of frequencies. Just to finish the last 5 minutes, Ian's going to talk you through a little bit of the analytics perspective from the staff competency, and again, how that's supported through Paper Trail.
Thank you, Ben. So I'm just going to come out of here and hopefully share a slightly different page. So this is just an example of the kind of analytics that we can create in terms of staff competency. So we basically, all the data within Paper Trail can be is passed through to Google BigQuery, and then we are able to build out dashboards like this in Google Looker Studio. So what we have here is kind of an overview of your qualifications account. We can break it down in different filters. So you can filter by different sites or offices. You can filter by job roles, so different types of technicians or office staff. You can look at specific qualifications. You can also break it down by the different states that the records are in, so whether they're valid, yet to complete, which are booked in or not. And then what we have here is just kind of different charts that show specific qualifications and their pass rates. So with this GWO fire safety, 66.7% of the staff that require that qualification have passed it, and there's 33% of the staff that haven't passed it. So it just kind of gives you an overview of kind of how compliant your employees are in terms of the different qualifications they're supposed to hold. Going down, we just kind of get this general overview of qualifications. You can see which member of staff it is, and then you can see the state that record is in, and then there's a link here. If you were to click that, it would take you through to that record within PaperTrail. Going down, you can see staff members and then the kind of percentage of past qualifications. So the total qualifications is like all the qualifications that member of staff needs in order to fulfill their job role. And then they've got the number of qualifications that are actually valid. So you can see me there. I've still got one qualification to gain in order to be completely competent within my job role. Going down, we have refresher courses. So I think a lot of you will be aware that with certain courses, they offer a refresher course. So if you sit the refresher course before the expiry date of your qualification, then you only have to do 1 day and the cost is less. But if the qualification actually becomes expired, then you have to do the full course again, which could mean multiple days on the course and also a higher cost. So what you can do within PaperTrail is you can highlight which qualifications offer a refresher course, and then you'll be notified within this box which basically if it's 1 month until the qualification expires and there's a refresher course available, you'll be notified. And as we can see in here, we've actually got 3 people that need to do their GWO first aid. So that means I get oversight of that and I can book 3 people onto the same course, let them sit that refresher course, and it saves me both time and money. What we also have is just an overview of all the qualifications due to expire within the next 6 months. If you were to actually have like the course costs in there as well, then we'll be able to give you an accurate idea of your expenditure on training in the next 6 months, or maybe even within the next year, which would hopefully help you with your financials a little bit more. And then down here at the bottom, it's kind of just what we saw at the top. It's all your kind of completion rates based on your different qualifications. So you can see GWO fire safety, we've got 66% pass rate. So it means we've got a couple of people that we need to send on that training. So hopefully that just gives you a bit of an idea of the type of stuff that we can create. The analytics is kind of a little bit more of a bespoke thing. So we always try and make it work within your own business, and we would always have that conversation with you as well. So I believe that we are just going to have a few questions, and I think that we also have a link available for anyone that wants an NFC starter pack. I'll let Ben talk to you about that, and then we can open up the floors for questions.
I think just with the timings and things like that, I know Carrie and Mike have been answering questions as we've gone, so that's I think we'll just keep it on the chat if that's okay. Brilliant, thanks for that, Ian. In terms of sort of a bit of an overview and how NFC tags can be attached, we've obviously shown you how you as maybe the end users or a stores person can attach them. We also work with a number of our partners. So our suppliers, for example, Gibbs Safety, they can actually attach NFC tags at source. So, for example, you place an order with them, they'll attach the equipment, the tags. And what we have now is something called Partner Hub, which will sync your order effectively of your equipment and then drops into your PaperTrail account. So not only does your equipment arrive pre-inspected, pre-tagged, but it's also uploaded into PaperTrail. So going back to that, improving efficiencies, time saving is just absolutely massive. Another example is RWE. So again, one of our big renewable companies, they've added up to, I think, over sort of 1,500 tags to certain pieces of equipment. And again, just the time that they're saving in doing the inspections, coming into that 6 monthly, for example, having to stand there, looking at serial numbers. We all know how long serial numbers can be. Having a quick scan, it brings that record up, carry out the inspection there and then. So efficiency and time saving is absolutely huge.